Here's the injury report for the Cowboys. This is updated as of Thursday. They just announced it like literally as we started today's live video. No changes here. One thing you don't see on this list is Tyron Smith did not participate because of rest. This is the Cowboys' plan moving forward. He's just not going to practice on Thursdays. So nothing to be worried about at all there. He is good to go. Everyone else on this injury report, plus one guy we'll get to here more in depth in a minute, was a full participant. Rico Dowdle, ankle injury. He's been a full participant. Nothing to be worried about. Junior Fehoko is one that's worth mentioning. We'll spend some more time on because that's a new injury. He hasn't played at all. Jordan Lewis, injured against the Giants late. I thought it was a shoulder. Turns out it was a neck. He's fine. Oso Odighizuwa, minor hamstring tweak. He's fine. Jalen Tolbert's knee is good to go. And then most importantly, KaVontae Turpin is fully back at practice for the Cowboys. He missed last week. He'll be able to play, barring a setback on Friday against the Carolina Panthers. My prayer circle tweets have been working. I'm going to take all the credit for 3 weeks in a row, the Cowboys not suffering any setback of any kind when it comes to injuries on the Cursed Thursdays. So let's keep the positive vibes going. Like the video if you want the Cowboys to avoid future practice injuries. We'll send the good vibes out into the universe and help prevent them for Dallas. One player who is also a full participant at practice, who's currently on injured reserve, is Peyton Hendershot, the Cowboys tight end who was put on IR earlier this season. He has now been designated to return. Now, what this means is that there's a 21-day window in which Hendershot can practice without counting against the 53-man roster. At some point in that 21-day window, he must return to the active roster or stay on injured reserve for the remainder of the season. At any point in that time, Hendershot can indeed return. So it's really a matter of, in theory, when, not if he's back. It could happen this week. I'd be a little bit surprised if it happened that quickly, if only because the Cowboys, as of right now, do not have the open roster spot, which we'll come back to later on in today's show. Hendershot has 12 catches over the course of his NFL career. He's had some drop issues. There have been several in the last 2 years that have really led to bad results from that perspective. It has not been very good in terms of the drops and the end result. There's been some INTs mixed in there. The Cowboys, as of right now, have 3 tight ends on the active roster. Jake Ferguson, clearly tight end 1. Luke Schoonmaker, the second-round pick, is where we're at this stage. And Sean McKeon is tight end 3 as well. John Stevens not eligible to return. In theory, you could bring back Peyton Hendershot and just demote everyone at one spot since Schoonmaker continues to not make enough plays in the actual passing game. So pick a tight end 2. PH for Peyton Hendershot or LS for Luke Schoonmaker. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Now, Hendershot will require 1 spot to be opened up. The other one is going to be one involving Rashaan Evans. The Cowboys' expected plan in the coming days is to find an open roster spot for Evans. Dallas is not going to get Leighton Vander Esch back this year. Evans and Malik Jefferson, by the way, are out of practice squad call-ups. Now, Dallas right now has 0 open roster spots at this time, which means somebody has to get cut or has to be placed on IR with some injury. We'll focus in on the Evans replacements here first and foremost, but these also work pretty well for Hendershot, with one name in particular very much standing out. First up is Viliami, a.k.a. Junior Fehoko. He has not played at all this year. The 4th-round pick has been a healthy scratch in every single game this season, and very curiously, suddenly has an injury on the injury report. Now, he's been a full participant the last 2 days of practice, so I'm probably veering too much into the conspiracy theory of, sudden injury, they're going to injury stash him, like they've done with other players over the course of their careers, which is fine. That's what smart organizations tend to do. But he has not played a game this year. As a 4th-round pick, I don't think you can cut him. I think somebody would claim him. You're not going to stash him. You know, you couldn't even stash John Ridgeway on the practice squad. You had to do something similar a few years ago because you just wouldn't put Dak on IR. Anyway, I don't think that Fehoko is a cut candidate, but he could be a prime injured reserve candidate if he actually is at least a little bit injured. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to help keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You will save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. Skip the stress of meal prep over the holidays with Factor. 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences, all delivered right to your door and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. They've also got the Gourmet Plus options, which could level you up for the special occasion meal this holiday season. This November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Choose your meals, enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals straight to your door, ready in 2 minutes with no prep and no mess. Head to factormeals.com/CowboysChat50 and use code CowboysChat50 to get 50% off. That's code CowboysChat50 at factormeals.com/CowboysChat50 to get 50% off. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. The second cut candidate I'll mention for Evans probably makes more sense for Hendershot in this conversation. That is tight end Sean McKeon. The Cowboys have veered away from all their two tight end personnel reps, which I think is for the best because you play your receivers instead. Sean McKeon is tight end 3 right now. If and when Hendershot does return, should be when, he likely drops down to tight end 4. Could you get him to the practice squad? Decent chance, at least, of that. Then there's Eric Scott Jr., the cornerback. And we got 2 corners we'll keep in mind here on today's show. So be aware, the second one's coming here in a moment. The Cowboys moved up, sacrificing a future 5 to take Eric Scott at the start of the 6th round in this past year's NFL draft. He has not played at all this season. Clearly a redshirt year for Eric Scott. Given the level of investment, I would be surprised if he got cut, and I would be surprised if you could get him down to the practice squad. Because remember, teams are losing players each week. So guy might have been like 55 on a roster at the beginning of the year for a different team. Now he might be like 47 just because of all the injuries that have occurred over the course of the season. Now, when the Cowboys make that roster move, we will have a video or at least a short on it. It is Olivia's birthday on Saturday, so it might be a little bit busy. Hit that sub button. We are 130 subs away. That is it from 172. Get there before kickoff of the Panthers game. More free videos when you sub every single day. Number 4, I should say, on our list is Noah Igbinoghene, the cornerback. Noah played a little bit earlier this year, but he hasn't actually played a game since he matched up against the 49ers. He has since been passed, by Rashaan Wright on the active and game day roster. Wright's been active. Igbinoghene has not been. The player the Cowboys traded for him is already been cut as well, and Calvin Jones was kind of funny. He did not get claimed. I think you could get Igbinoghene through waivers and down to the practice squad, although you'd be eating the remainder of his base salary, I do believe, if you wanted to go that route. My guy Deuce Vaughn, also on this list. Why are these guys on here? These are your normal scratches. Therefore, they have to be discussed. Deuce Vaughn, although when he is active, he does play a role, he doesn't offer enough on non-return teams, and KaVontae Turpin is better than Deuce Vaughn is. The Cowboys, historically speaking, love their draft picks, so it's tough to see them punting on Vaughn already. I think a decent chance he gets claimed. Michael Carter got claimed by the Cardinals, and then the Commanders, and I'm trying to look at the other team who also put in a waiver claim for him, had interest in Carter. They might very well have interest in Deuce Vaughn. So I don't know if you'll be able to get him, Scott, any of your draft picks through waivers. Should Deuce Vaughn get to play a little bit more? Y for yes, N for no. You can be honest. We can take it the yes or no sides in the comment section right now. The one that jumps out to me is Tyrus Wheat, who's kind of an edge linebacker to a certain extent hybrid. He was the one they called up to the active roster when Van Der Esch first went to IR, which I was kind of intrigued by. He has mainly helped on special teams. My question is this. Do you need another defensive end, outside linebacker, edge rusher? He's edge 6 on this roster, which apparently you couldn't find room drawing on the guy's name, got with the Colts. Either way, couldn't find room earlier. Now you have a spot. I find that very curious from that perspective. I think if you cut Wheat, he would not get claimed, and you could get him back to the practice squad, which is always a gamble for teams at this time of the year. But if you're going to replace one front seven player with Rashaan Evans, it's a logical fit, I believe. Isaiah Land is the name. Isaiah Land. Can't believe I forgot that one. Rookie mistake. Anyway, name a player who you think ends up getting cut to make room for Rashaan Evans and or Hendershot. Sound off in the comment section right now. 3 names I want to mention as more of the unlikely cuts. Austin Richards, do not cut offensive linemen. They're too tough to find. Jalen Brooks actually helped on as a receiver and helps on special teams. Not going to cut him. And Deshaun Wright is ahead of Scott and Igbinoghene, so I'd be surprised if he ended up getting dumped just because of the special teams value. One more kind of minor move that happened earlier today. Carl Davis has been added to the practice squad. Billy Price went on the practice squad IR, I should say, so he's going to miss some time with an undisclosed injury. The practice squad guys, we never know what the injury was because they're not on the injury report, so we have no idea what happened there. Davis is a nose guard, and perhaps most importantly, spent time earlier this season with the Seattle Seahawks, who just so coincidentally, the Cowboys will play in just a few weeks on the Thursday game after Thanksgiving. Doesn't seem like an accident as far as I'm concerned. Carl Davis, a career journeyman nose guard, drafted by the Ravens, 3rd-round pick, 28 games, 30 tackles, half sack, bounced around to the Browns, the Colts, the Jags, actually had some moderate success in New England. He's not better than Hankins. He's not better than Mozzie Smith. It's just veteran depth who happens to have some familiarity with an upcoming opponent for the Cowboys.